Broncos country, we are live. The players that we have written off, they're breaking out in Denver Broncos training camp. We're going to get into who that is. We're going to start with the big man on the thumbnail, Uwazurike. You might say, well, Dave, he's not truly a bust. He was like, what, a day 3 pick? But, I mean, after the gambling stuff a couple of years ago, we kind of written him off. At least I have. I didn't even have him making the roster on my 53 projection a couple weeks ago. And to my pleasant surprise, Uwazurike is now starting to stack some practices, according to Jake Goetz. Go follow him on Twitter, all right? And shout out to the man who runs Broncos Country Twitter himself, Michael. Respect Michaels. He made sure I was aware of this. Jake Goetz, his notes today. Eyioma Uwazurike looked good today. Batted pass and quick pass rush. Oh, yes, please. Evan Ingram's about to be the Joker. We know that. Bo Nix in the offense looked way better today, especially in the last period. See that ebb and flow. What all the smart beat reporters talk about. You want to see defense having their day, then offense, and so forth. Iron sharpens iron. Then respect my co's. Calling it, saying Uwazurike season. Jake responding, saying low key, the best I've seen him perform in the last 2 years I've been at camp. Wow. And this just comes after another day or so. Got good Uwazurike reporting, and Sean Payton over the weekend even commented about how this is a big camp for him, but spent maybe 2-3 minutes talking about Uwazurike and how much they like him. I love that. Now, right now, on my Broncos depth chart, or not depth chart, 53-man roster, we can see right here, Uwazurike, I have subbed him in for Jordan Jackson. But imagine if we're having 6 deep at interior defensive line with a guy like Uwazurike, who we didn't really see that much, but 6'6", 320 pounds. He finally has a full NFL offseason to do his thing. 4th round pick a few years ago out of Iowa State, right? Contract year? No. Yeah, contract year. Okay. So you got to make some money. And we need to see him bring that tenacity more. I went back before the draft and watched every snap he played last year. I might have taken a few gummies when I did it, but Uwazurike, there's a lot to love with just his presence. Not many humans, even the NFL, are built like this. But the thing that I've wanted to see is just, I felt like his conditioning could be better, and his overall tenacity level, his effort level. You want to see him running out there like a man possessed, so to speak. He needs to reach that next gear, and it sounds like he's starting to do that, impressing not only in the run defense, but with the pass rush as well. So he had a sack last year in 4 games. I think that's pretty good for like a guy of his size. We'll have to see. But if he can play, and he's kind of played more of that 4-eye, right? Not necessarily that traditional nose, but I do wonder if he can play that traditional nose, if he, continues to play with a higher level of intensity. I know sometimes 6'6" guys, they might be a little too tall for that type of role, but it would be great if we have Uwazurike, DJ Jones, a few of these guys. Malcolm Roche, I know he's a little bit smaller. He calls himself the 6th man of the defense. I mean, I'm not trying to, crap on Malcolm Roche, but I think you're a little bit better than the 6th man, to be honest. But Uwazurike, if he's going to be like a plus in terms of like the 6th guy on the defensive line, yes, please. We're in great territory to have a menacing, like a 2015 type defensive line. That's what I'm talking about, where you can't run against us and you can't pass block against us. Love to see that from Uwazurike. Uwazurike, baby. Say it with me. Uwazurike breakout season. Now, another important note here is that we did have Audric Estime continuing to stack days, and I just deleted my bookmark tweet that I was going to show this. But Audric Estime continuing to impress. Let me see if I can pull that up again here. This is what happens when you do it live. Alberto got released. Dre Greenlaw went to the locker room with his quad. So hopefully he's okay. It didn't seem like it was too serious, but I hope that they give him a ton of rest. We don't need to stress this thing. Here we go. Audric Estime has visibly popped at Broncos camp the last few days. Mixture of really nice outside and inside carries, has caught the ball out of the backfield a few times, just looked a lot more powerful and explosive than during the offseason and the start of camp. This is what I wanted to see with Audric Estime. We've talked about the potential in him if that switch flips. Can he have, size with purpose? Some of you guys have said in the comments. A soft big guy. We don't need that. What we need is a physical, tenacious big guy running the rock. Sounds like Audric Estime has kind of found that gear. Again, we'll see what happens in preseason here in a few weeks, but I love what I'm seeing so far. Now, let me go back to my bookmarks. I guess we'll just run through all of this. Now, Ricky Scoops, he is legit. He is in the know. He has said that, an extension's coming with Zach Allen. So Ricky never misses. We'll have to keep track of what that looks like moving forward, okay? But that's great to see. Here's some clips of RJ, Harvey, and J.K. Dobbins. And looking quick, looking light on their feet, looking explosive, powerful, all that. Man, I just love the fact, again, that we got J.K. Dobbins here. And RJ Harvey, could he be the best back we've had, since Clinton Portis? I think it's definitely possible. Let's continue on. Caleb Lohner getting some work. Love to see that. Again, shout out to Marquee Sports talking about how he just needs to play pretty much the whole preseason. Super raw, but a fantastic athlete. Rated a 60 overall in Madden, which is super lame. But what I suggest is you take LeBron James's physical attributes in 2K, and then you put that onto Caleb Lohner's player profile. And, we'll see what happens there once you're using him in Madden, as white LeBron James. Let's see here. Luka Evans, it's official. Adam Troutman about whispers of the change in the Broncos' run philosophy, more emphasis on outside zone. We talked about this a few days ago on the channel, y'all, because who was it? Quinn Miners was speaking about this, but Adam Troutman said, I think we've always kind of wanted to be kind of an outside zone team. I think we're just kind of committing to it. Well, now we actually have the backs that can do it with JK and with RJ. No doubt about it. Ryan Edwards. Devon Vele's back. Dre Greenlaw, again, went to the locker room. Better overall day for the offense without pads. Makes sense. Including 5 TDs. The end of the practice and red zone. Can't overstate Evan Ingram's important to the offense. Came up clutch several times today. Refs were out here for the first time, and there was heavy focus on pre-snap alignment for the offensive line. A lot of flags. Hella annoying. The only team that has issue with this is Kansas City. Thought the offense tried attacking downfield more today than they have previously. Maybe that wasn't intentional, or maybe they're starting to open things up a bit more. Well, now since we got Brandon Cooks, now that we got Tyreek Hill and Troy Franklin and Marvin Mims, along with Courtland Sutton, let's just turn this thing to 11. That's how I feel about it. All right. And a few more takeaways. Again, Uwazurike having an impressive camp. Nice play on a tip pass. Joaquin Davis, agenda is solidifying. Great grab in the back corner of the end zone. Talanoa Hufanga with great coverage on Evan Ingram on 1 rep. Yeah, Joaquin Davis, he's been mentioned a few times over the past 8 days, and you're beginning to wonder if he will make a case for one of these roster spots. Of course, we'll have to see how he performs on special teams as well in preseason. Could the Broncos do the unthinkable, as my friend Cameron Parker said in my Discord the other day, and keep 7 wide receivers? Guess that would mean you're probably keeping only 3 running backs. I don't know how that goes, but right now the 6 are Sutton, Vele, Mims, Franklin, Bryant, Pat Bryant. He also had a 25-yard catch from Bo Nix. That's why I threw him in on the side panel here on the screen. And then Trent Sherfield. Those are the 5. Now, let's say, okay, maybe we say Nick Gargiulo, man, it was fun, but we want Joaquin Davis here. That could be your 53. Is he better than Trent Sherfield, who kind of looks like a beast, honestly? We'll have to see. But right now, I think Joaquin Davis is more likely to be a practice squad guy. We'll have to see, though, what happens. All right, I'll get to a few of your comments, guys, and then I'm going to get out of here. But, yeah, overall, just so impressed and so happy for Uwazurike, for Estime. Again, stacking practices. These are guys that we've written off at different times, myself included. Man, I was freaking out about Audric Estime, his attitude issues, everything like that that's been reported. And it seems like he's gotten the message. It seems like Uwazurike has gotten the message in terms of, effort level, putting his best year together, going into a contract year. You want to get paid. This is great. So absolutely love it. Let's get to your comments, Biggie Bronco. Let's freaking go. Hope you're doing well, man. Thanks for tuning in. What type of draft capital would you give Green Bay for Isaiah Simmons since we're having problems at inside linebacker? Man, everybody's getting hurt. Man, honestly, probably nothing more than like a 6th or 7th round pick. Do we have a 7th round pick next year? I'm not totally sure, but that's all I want to spend on inside linebacker. You still got Kaiser or White that's available. A few other linebackers that are available in free agency, I think that you could bring in and, be probably just as serviceable as Isaiah Simmons. The problem with Isaiah Simmons is that he might kind of be, well, I don't know. You would like to have a guy being brought in if he's going to start and be like a main inside linebacker to be a little bit better, I guess, in the run. From my understanding is that he's always kind of been this tweener between linebacker and safety. And, he can cover, he can drop back in zone really good, but what about his, run stopping instincts? I think that there's a little bit to be desired, but it's something that I would be open-minded to, Biggie Bronco. I wouldn't write it off if the price is right. Now, in other news, Terry McLaurin did request a trade today. Would have been interesting if, the Broncos had an extended Courtland Sutton, if they would be in on this. I would have said absolutely, but I think it's a little too late now to get involved with that. So, and we'll just have to see. Well, guys, this is a little bit shorter of a live. Again, thank you to everybody that takes part in these. Be sure to smash the like, subscribe, and let me know your thoughts on all these topics in the comments. I don't have time to respond to everyone, but I do see what you guys say, even if I'm not always commenting back. And Broncos country, you're the best. Big E's the best today. Go Broncos.